we go. We're live from the ASB Financial Studios in Fly on the Wall Productions on North Main Street in Barrie, Vermont. We have an absolutely stellar morning out there. Couldn't possibly get any better. The sun is shining, the foliage is popping. The S word is in the forecast for possibly this weekend or later part of the weekend and into the beginning of next week for higher terrain only. So definitely a great time of year to start thinking about getting your snow tires put on. Just think about it. I'm not saying you got to, you should do it this weekend. I'm just saying, think about it. Have that in the back of your mind because we all know that things can change quickly this time of year. And Green Mountain Auto Spa over in Williamstown has got a lot to choose from. Am I right, Raylene?
You are correct, and they are having a big sale right now on tires, actually. They have new and used, mount, balance, all of that good stuff. Yeah.
One-stop shop.
One stop.
Get in there. Don't freak out. Don't drink the Kool-Aid that everybody's trying to make you drink, that there's a tire shortage and a national emergency and everyone's going to be slipping and sliding all over the roads because there's no snow tires that are being manufactured. Don't believe the hype. Get over to Green Mountain Spa, Auto Spa. Right?
Right.
Bottom line, they'll calm you right the hell down. Here we are. It is a...
I want to know who's going to calm you right the hell down, but...
Not that I'm worked up about.
Well, I'll take you over to Green Mountain Auto Spa. I bet you they have a crowbar somewhere.
Yeah, it'll take a few people.
Oh, my God, you guys.
It's going to take a village. It's not going to be a
what, to calm me down?
Yeah.
To calm me down, Tom?
Yeah. Well, cannabis is legal, so
yeah,
there's that.
Well, that's true. That's a good point. That's a good point. It's great to see both of you. We got a nice wide shot of you today. Tom Lozon, by the way, our city councilor.
Thanks for having me.
Happy to see you, buddy. We love having you in here on Wednesday mornings.
We try to come in every Wednesday after the council meeting on Tuesday and talk about things that are going on.
First of all, I just want to begin this morning by saying, Tom, have you had coffee? Are you good?
Have I had coffee?
Yeah. Are you?
I have.
All right.
Yeah.
So you're okay.
I'm at my max.
All right. Because, you're chewing the fat.
Speaking of calming down, I'm coming off the coffee buzz.
All right. Well, you're, doing your thing. I can always run and get you a cup of coffee.
I'm good. Thank you.
Tom, I have one of my aspirations in life has always been to arm wrestle you, and I think my opportunity has finally presented itself. This is something where I would be willing to put down large sums of cash in a bet that I could kick your ass when it comes to an arm wrestling match.
Well, depending on which arm I use, you probably could right now. Having a little trouble with the right one.
Well,
you're going to pick on me.
That's the one I'll pick.
No,
then. I'll go with the right arm.
So Alex is much taller than I am, much broader than I am, a lot stronger than I am, probably a better person than I am too, but that's not really a high bar. But as a dad, you find yourself consistently with your children, you're in a time warp. You always look like them, look at them like they're 8. And, he's a man. He's a young man. And he was helping me take the boat lift out of the water. Yeah. And so they settle. You have to retract the legs and, get them down on the wheels. And then you literally, pull them out. I'll just pull mine out with the truck. I'll, hook a strap to it and pull it out with the truck.
Sure.
But you got to get the legs out of the muck. It settles, in the pond. And so you got to get the legs out. And I watched how easily he just walked up to it and yanked on it, and, and pow, the thing came right up out of the muck. So I walked over to the other corner and I pulled on it, and there was this loud popping sound. And he looked at me horrified and said, "That wasn't the lift." And I said, "No, that was me."
He heard this?
Yeah, it's torn. Yeah. So it's okay. So it looks like it's not.
You're going to be having
going to heal on its own.
Some surgery here at some point?
Yeah, so we'll likely have to go in and get things straightened out.
All right.
It's all part of
Before-
all part of the aging process. I'm not going gracefully, unfortunately.
Well, I think
I'm the kicking and screaming type.
Do any of us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
It's
think,
okay.
I
Listen,
think
other
those-
people have a lot worse problems than this, so
I think many would disagree. I think you're aging quite well, as a matter
and
of
it
fact.
comes perfect time of year, really, because summertime's gone, so I'm not going to be out doing a lot of gardening and
Right.
building
Well, this is
things,
true.
and so if it had to happen, I guess at the close of the season, taking the boat lift out was probably the best time.
So this is Alex's fault. All of
No,
this.
it's not his fault. He is. I'll tell you what. I am so proud of my kids. They got their mom's compassion. They got their dad's drive, but they got their mom's compassion. And he actually feels badly. He said to me the other day, I should have prevented that. And I'm like, you
you're-
can't prevent stupid, Alex.
Well, stubbornness too.
So, well, no, it wasn't stubbornness. It was,
you needed
you got
to
to
get in there
realize
and help.
that we all have limitations, and so probably a good reminder that to
Sure.
slow down and think a little bit before you do dumb things.
Right.
Which is pretty much my motto: do
Yeah.
dumb things.
Do you have that T-shirt?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I got the bumper sticker out on the car.
Oh gosh. and before we jump into city business, we should also recognize Karen and her accomplishments out back at our house and her
Absolutely.
recent.
Yeah, she, everybody oohed and awed because I spent 12 years as mayor. She had that beat, by a mile. Karen was the president of the board of directors of Our House. Our House is an organization that advocates and finds resources for sexually abused children and families. And in 2007, she assumed the presidency. And back then, you served for a couple of terms. And then you had to rotate off. Those were the bylaws of the organization. Those were the rules. So she got done her second term as president, I think, in 2009, and the board said, let's change the rules. So it became 3 years, and then 4 years, and then 5 years, and on. And she served her 15th year as president this year, but decided that she has a great board. Rebecca, their executive director, does a great job. The staff is so wonderful. And she was pretty sad. I mean, we could never talk specifically about a lot of the work that they did, but I know how much it meant to her.
Sure.
And so
was a
this
nice
week was
picture.
her last meeting on the board and last meeting as president. So, and I'll tell you, she was a perfect fit for that. Karen, I am so lucky because caring about people and making them comfortable, it's just in her DNA. It comes so. That's why I take her everywhere with me because I'm
Sure.
such a shit.
Yeah.
And so she totally balances, the two of us. She just has this way of
The
making
calm
people
to the
feel.
storm, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just got this way that I admire so much of making people feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Making them feel like, hey, you matter and you're important and
Yeah.
you're okay here and just be comfortable. And she's got that way. So, so I'm pretty proud of her.
It's one of the it's one of the good things about social media is that it does tie in our community in many ways because it was nice to see that on Facebook.
So I am going to figure out something because the organization means a lot to her. So I'm going to figure out some way to honor her service. It will likely involve a fundraiser. It will not involve a dress this time. I don't know if you recall a number of years ago. This goes way back. I think Karen had just started serving as president, or I had just started serving as mayor. I don't even know how it got going, but they were having a fashion show, and they were trying to raise money at the fashion show. Yeah. And I think it was in a council meeting. I said,
remember
well, if
this.
it would help, I'll wear a dress.
Yes.
And I'll model one of the dresses.
My God, I forgot about this.
Yeah. And so I said, I will only do it. I will only put that dress on if people pledge at least $5,000.
Okay.
And
was there makeup
the
involved, too?
$5,000. Yeah, she had some stuff for me.
Wig? Was there a wig?
No. Okay. It was just me.
Yeah.
And people are probably still having nightmares over that. And
Yes.
I have the picture. I walked with my daughter Miranda down the runway, down the catwalk.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Crowd go
but
wild? Did the crowd go
the
wild?
crowd went a little wild. But the good news is we raised $5,000. I mean, that one
Right.
act we raised, $5,000, and
Yeah, it's awesome.
I've embarrassed myself worse than that a million times anyway.
Yeah.
So that was, to get $5,000 to help, children in, who need help, who are
Right.
really going through arguably one of the worst times of their lives.
Right.
Worth it. Didn't have to think about that one too much.
So something else is in the works, just not quite sure
I'm
exactly
not sure.
what yet.
Yeah. I mean, I've got to talk to Karen about it and say, well, what would you like to do? How would you, what would you like to do for our house? So I'm sure she'll have some ideas, but, we had her last meeting and then we had, so it's been a busy week at our house.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
we're on board for promoting whatever. So
Yeah,
we're anxious to hear.
Absolutely. So we
Yeah.
will absolutely, we'll do something. It's what I love about Barry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was talking to Greg at the Rainbow Bridge Center.
Yep.
Was talking to him about some fundraising that they're doing this weekend and how we could support them.
Sure.
The one thing I've always loved about Barry, we're not as affluent as some communities. Certainly, we can all think of the communities that come to mind when we talk about, okay, that's an affluent community. We're a blue-collar community, but the amazing thing about Barry is especially when I was mayor, I'd go to other communities and I'd talk to people about fundraising and, how successful they were or weren't. And people in Barry are so generous. They'll give you money that they probably shouldn't be giving you.
Yeah.
That they, but they'll give you. Everyone will give something, and this is such a, if there's a good cause, this community will always get behind it.
Yeah.
I look at Christmas for Kids, and I look at
Sure.
what we do here in Barry and what we've done every year, and that was another, cause that was near and dear to Karen's heart, and. Other communities just aren't doing anything like that.
I know.
And here, believe me, it's not easy, but so many organizations make it look easy.
Yeah.
Because of the people that we have who live here.
There's an
who are
awful lot of
anxious,
legwork.
Always anxious, always anxious to help.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that has made me so proud, to live here.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
That's right.
It's not hard to help people in this community.
We have a lot to get to today. Just a quick quick note here that Carrie Freiberg is a little under the weather, so she will not be on the air at 11 o'clock this morning.
No, instead, Ron Tallman and some gentlemen from the VFW are going to come in and speak with us in regards to the upcoming parade and the Boy Scouts.
Yes.
And some things they've got going on. And so, and they're in need of some volunteers and help. So tune in and get all the information about that. And we will be talking about it more and, of course, posting all we can to get them all they need for the parade.
Keep watch of the page because we're just dropping tons of stuff that's going on in our community. We're not only into the microphone, but also onto our Facebook page. And Tom, we're upwards of, we're pushing like 50,000 views and listens per month here
Well, you should.
on Aired Out.
Yeah.
My God.
Well, you should.
Jeez.
You keep the community connected, and to both of you, I'm grateful for that. You keep people connected in terms of what's going on in the community and, how people can help and who needs help. And
Yeah.
it's all important stuff.
Speaking of which, we have a couple of really important public service announcements that we're going to get to. But before we dive into council meeting last night, just a tip of the hat to the teachers in central Vermont and everywhere, no matter where you're listening today. Today is World Teachers Day today. Fair to say, maybe one of the top 3 hardest, most challenging jobs in the world.
And most important.
I
mean, we trust them with our kids. And it's kind of funny because when I would size people up, the thought that goes through my head when I say, okay, how do I feel about this person? I think, would I leave my children with them?
Right.
And that's always been sort of my benchmark.
Yeah.
And you know, no one plays a more important role in, well, one would argue parents, but you know, teachers. If I think about the influences in my life and the teachers that I've had, you know, Dr. John Hughes, who taught me constitutional theory in college, left such a, you know, all the teachers all the way up through from grade school and high school, you know, Mike Gilbert, who was my business teacher in high school. And you think Mrs. Shadroy, you know, I loved English, and you think about all these teachers who just really left a mark on you and left an impression on you, and in a very positive way. It's an important job.
It's a thankless job.
I hope it's not.
Many regards.
I hope teachers, you know, none of us feel the love every day. I mean,
Exactly.
well, we don't. But I think overall, you know, when I think of whether it's public service or the work that I do at the farm or the buildings that you know, just this morning I was speaking with someone that we've been assisting with their business in a build out, and you know, she was just gushing and going on and on about how grateful they were for my help. So I think we all, you know, none of us feel the love every day, but
Sure.
I hope if teachers really, I hope every teacher, if they really take a step back and say, okay, do I think I'm appreciated? I hope the answer is yes.
I do too.
And if it's not, I hope we can do something about it.
And, you know, with great fairness to our superintendent and the entire administrations in all of our schools, they have their hands really full right now. And a lot of them, welcome to fall, welcome to sixth season. We've had, you know, Spalding had to close down, and so did U32 because
JD,
staffing.
the pandemic, COVID, you know,
Pain in
the
the
employment
ass.
issues, everything right now. You know, everything is hard. Nothing, you know, permitting a building is difficult right now. Getting a building built is difficult right now. Getting taxes filed is, you know, everything. I can't point at one thing that has really gotten easier, you know, and we all just have to realize that things are going to take a little, you know, for a while, things are. Because I see supply chain issues, I see them. See things getting better, thankfully. But in the meanwhile, we just have to be a little more patient. When you go out to a restaurant, you know, the service may not be the same. They may be short one or two servers.
Exactly.
It's not the end of the damn world,
Right.
You know,
Everybody-
and take the time to enjoy it.
And you might be sitting in the drive-through line for 20 minutes or longer, too. That's life
But
right
it's
now.
okay.
And everybody is having to learn to pivot and compromise.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's okay.
And if you don't pivot and compromise, you're going to be disappointed. You have to.
You're going to live miserably.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You have to wake up with the mindset of patience first right now.
You know, so be grateful for teachers. Be patient. Whether it's a bank teller, whether it's a waiter or waitress, whether it's a kitchen staff, you know, trying to get your meal out as quickly. Just chill. Just chill. And imagine, well, how would you treat that person? I always have to do these exercises because I'm really not a good person. I have to work hard at it. So I try to imagine that person. Okay, what if that person is my mom, my son, my daughter? How would I want them, you know, to be treated? And remember, that's somebody's son, somebody's daughter, somebody's mom, somebody's dad. You know, so just
and that
calm
server
down.
and that server that brought you your food a little late or very late is a real person who has their own struggles
Who's
and their
working
own
their ass
problems at
off.
home. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
you know, for tips essentially.
My God.
So
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
look,
Yeah.
I it's all about the people.
Yeah.
And one thing, you know, if you just extend a little kindness, you know, I'd have to say that in terms of, yes, things take a little bit longer, but I'm not having a bad experience with the people. They're doing the best they can, and under those difficult circumstances, they're still friendly.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah, it's all good. We'll get through this.
Tom, recap last night's city council meeting.
Sure.
How was it? How was things?
Well, two big. One ongoing, which is the Diversity and Equity Committee. But first, I'm going to talk about the city's infrastructure and capital plan. We got a draft of that last night. It's about a 70, 80-page document.
Now, Tom, when I hear, say that again, infrastructure and what?
Capital and infrastructure plan. Well, it's far and away what the city spends the most money on. So if you like smooth streets, if you like a community that keeps moving forward, JD, everybody should have a plan. You know, everybody, every business should have at least a 5-year plan. Every individual should have a 5-year plan.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that you plan not like, where am I having dinner next week? Not that stuff.
Yeah.
But the important stuff,
Yeah.
taking stock of, all right, where is my mortgage at? Where's my interest rate at? Should I be refinancing it? How much of my mortgage am I going to pay off in 5 years? And if I pay $50 more a month, how much more am I going to pay off?
Exactly.
In the next, planning like that. And everybody, every person, every business should have, a 5-year plan. And obviously, because you're so forward looking, it's got to be a bit flexible.
Yep.
You may have, your 5-year plan may take a little bit of a hit if all of a sudden your washer dies and you didn't expect it. Okay, then we got to adjust the plan, because the washer isn't going to be purchased in year 4. I need one now.
Or the car shits the bed.
Yeah, and so everyone should, think about their finances, and we've been talking about that. We had a 10-year paving plan that when I served the first time I served, I worked with Steve McKenzie to develop that plan. And for the most part, we stuck to the plan. We never really had, our capital plan was always reactive and not planning specifically. There was some planning. I want to be fair to the staff. There was some planning, for example, fire trucks, ambulances, police cars. Those are reasonably predictable in terms of when you have to rotate them out of service. But we weren't doing it enough.
Yeah.
And we weren't doing it with things like studies for the, upper floors of buildings in our downtown, and can we convert that to housing? So the manager has been working on this, well, obviously since he started, and the project predates him. And the council finally got its first look at the draft. And predictably, there are a lot of questions. I can see my suggestion right from the get-go was, I don't think we're as intensive with sidewalk and street infrastructure. Roughly 20% of the plan is devoted to that, and I wanted to see that percentage increase. But it's a great starting point.
Sure.
And everybody agrees that they're excited to get to work on it. So that was really important and honestly quite a milestone.
It was a lot of work too.
It was a ton of work.
It was intense and but very informative the way it was all laid out. And for us who were only watching, and we didn't all, we weren't privy to the entire 70 whatever pages, 77 pages.
I mean, it should. Maybe Nicholas
that
may not
night,
have gotten
right
it up on the
right.
Oh,
right.
okay. Yeah, he'll get it up on the webpage.
Right, but what was heard was very informative and actually sounded like there was light at the end of the tunnel in a way that because, like you say, there's a plan and a path forward, and all the numbers aren't where they need to be, or
no, we've got
some
a
of
ways
them
to
are
go.
a bit startling, but it's a start.
Yeah, and if you don't, identify the problems, you're never going to come up with a solution.
Is there any more talk about this $30 million town garage, city garage?
No, I think yes. There were some brief mentions of it. I think it's clearly understood that we can't afford a $30 million town garage.
Be a hell of a hotel,
but that's
though,
not an
it?
excuse to do nothing. We've got to do. I mean, we know there are some immediate deficiencies. For example, the employee locker room, the employee restrooms at the DPW facility.
Yeah.
we know there are some things that should really be fixed now. So we may have, I'd like to have that conversation about, okay, I don't want to do nothing over the next 12 months. So even a modest investment in that facility, if it will make our employees feel more appreciated,
Sure.
if it will make our employees more efficient, can we look at those things? And that's some of the stuff that we do with the capital plan is we're looking not only at things that we need, but I'll be placing an emphasis on things that give us a return on investment.
Okay.
And when I say return, not necessarily a cash return, but an efficiency return. Is there something that we could be doing that is going to make City Hall more efficient?
Sure.
Because, look, we all know in this employment environment, you got to do more with less.
Right.
Less people. I mean, we don't have the human. I was thinking about that the other day.
Jeez,
Governor Scott, and as you know, I'm a great admirer. But man, he was talking about this demographic challenge like in 2000. I was rereading some of the governors because I'm always reading, and I was actually rereading some of the governor's comments from 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And wow, and here we are. The pandemic certainly through retirement, because so many people retired during the pandemic. The stock market was up. People were feeling pretty good, about things. And a lot of people just during the pandemic said, look, if we ever get out of this thing, let's face it, we didn't know how bad it was going to be. And there were a lot of people who said, look, if we ever get out of this thing, I'm retiring. I'm going to spend time with my kids, with my grandkids, and I am retiring. Yeah. And predictably, we got out of it, and they retired, true to their word.
Yes.
So we accelerated. We had this trajectory we were on that really wasn't good. Obviously, in 2017, the governor couldn't have seen a pandemic that would actually accelerate the path we were on. And here we are. So anything we can do to make City Hall, to make things more efficient for our workers, we obviously need to pursue that.
Glenn Brummer just posted a comment here, and I think it's worthy of just mentioning. Do we ever, speaking of infrastructure, when roads are paved in and around Barre City, many are happy that we've got a nice smooth road without the potholes and such, But then there might be some concern and some complaints coming in from residents on that road that cars are going a hell of a lot faster. Is that something that's ever brought into the conversation with City Council? The pros and cons to paving a road?
Yes, we do discuss that. I was certainly, I live on Nelson Street, very long, straight stretch of road. And the speeds, can get a little high. And when Nelson Street, it really, Nelson Street is not in great shape these days. You gotta, I've learned the potholes and the dips in the road. But absolutely, when a street is paved, generally people, they will increase their speed. But those are really two separate issues.
Of course.
Because, as we saw recently up in Berlin with a pothole up on the airport road, their select board ended up paying out, buying people tires and rims.
Right.
So there's that. It's kind of that's a really fascinating comment because one of the other things that we talked about, and I'm not switching gears, we can come back to this, but we talked about dogs in the cemetery.
Yes.
Last night, and we had a little bit of a conversation there. Currently, by city ordinance, dogs are not allowed. It's an ordinance. Dogs are not allowed within 20 feet of a cemetery marker, and people are. And the big issue is not dogs in like no one talking to us said, "Oh, well, I was walking through the cemetery and somebody's dog attacked me. They didn't control them, or their dog was just barking. We were having a funeral and the dog was barking. Nothing like that. It's the dogs are pooping and peeing all over, and people aren't being responsible.
Right.
So, we talked a little bit about that and talked about, well, if we just allowed dogs, we talked about the enforcement, and that's the issue.
Right.
The issue is not dogs in the cemetery. I don't have an issue with a responsible owner. I was telling people that people walk on my street all the time because it's a really straight, good line of sight.
Sure.
People in the neighborhood walk there. Yeah, and you'll watch them, and the dog will do its thing, and the owner reaches down and scoops it up and
Right.
takes it home and disposes of it.
Sure.
And, and most of the time, that's what happens.
Right.
Once in a while, someone doesn't clean up after
Yeah.
themselves, after their pet, but that's pretty rare. And so I
If
wish
you know you're
somehow we
going-
could get
if you
through
know
to
you're-
people.
Yeah, if you know you're going for a walk with your dog, bring a bag or something with you. It's common sense.
Well, what do you think? Why do you think you're walking your dog?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Whoa.
Exactly.
Yes, you are walking them for exercise,
Yes.
but you also know that
Right.
it's like your baby.
Yes.
Okay. Were you really surprised when you peel that diaper back?
Yeah.
No.
Right.
That's what they do.
Exactly.
So two separate issues there, and enforcement. I think generally, our PD has done a better job at enforcement and keeping the speeds, down through neighborhoods.
And
But-
there have been constructive conversations, I think, at council, even over the last couple of months, with the digital signs as reminders in certain locations where speed has been a problem, or the speed bumps. There have been efforts, I think, and acknowledgement of that.
So I think we're getting better. I think, but again, I'm not sure that we ever would. I think that's a slippery slope if you say, well, I'm not going to pave that street because people might go faster. I hope they don't. But no, it's a great comment and a great question, and it is something that we consider. But when we look at paving streets, and we look at paving streets not just for the surface, but also what is underneath the surface. So as we're paving streets, we take the opportunity to replace the infrastructure.
Yeah.
So, at times I've had people say, well, why did you pave this street? Because my street is in a lot worse condition.
Yeah.
And you look into it and you find out they're not wrong, they're right, but the infrastructure under the street at that location was in a lot worse shape than their street. And that's why we kind of play musical streets sometimes. Sure. But I think overall, I think over the past 10 years, we have done a good job. I think we've fallen off a little bit. Again, labor, cost, pandemic. I think we've fallen off a little bit over the last, 18 months or so.
Yeah.
But, for the most part, certainly over the past previous, 10 or so years, if you look at other communities, Burlington, Rutland, other communities that are our size or larger, they have bigger infrastructure problems than we do, and especially in terms of water and sewer. Like I said, sometimes you may have to jump a street ahead because a water main breaks, but if you really look at the frequency of that,
Sure.
it's not that often. It's
But bottom line, if folks living in and around Berry City, taxpayers, always invited to get involved with city council meetings, either virtually through Zoom or show up.
well, and let us know what you're thinking. I mean, we're going to be talking about in the next certainly 60 days. We're going to be talking about the ARPA funds, $2.5 million that the city received, and that in terms of what the city can use it for, it's not wide open, but for purposes of discussion, it's more helpful to say, hey, it's wide open.
Yeah.
And we want to hear your ideas. So there's never been a better time than now to engage, with the council and to throw your idea out. If you got an idea of what we should be doing some of that money for, some things that will produce a return or produce a benefit to the, to the city and to our neighborhoods, we want to hear that.
Yeah.
I want to hear that.
I don't know if you had a chance to catch, probably not, yesterday's aired out with Raylene and Michael Booten and their conversation, which was amazing, with Bob Nelson across the street. But do we really need a committee that we have to hire to help us figure out how to spend these ARPA funds? Do we really need that?
I get it. Michael is not a big fan of consultants and committees.
Can't we just figure it all out?
If we were at full staff, if we had all of our vacancies filled, I might argue differently. We don't, and we're not. So So you've got to weigh the benefit. I want to see the funds. First of all, I want to make sure that everyone's idea is advanced, that nothing gets lost in the shuffle. And, unfortunately, when Jody Norway passed, Jody was, tremendously organized. There was a lot of information that I don't want to say was lost. We have it, but it didn't find its way to the right place. That was, in many respects, not just emotionally, that was a big loss. So I don't want to see that happen with the ARPA ideas. So, okay, to spend, $10,000 to make sure that we're spending $2.5 million in a way that everyone's idea is heard and the way, that it's thoughtful. I'm sort of okay. I might not be okay with it if we were fully staffed.
And there is
not.
a timeline, isn't there? So with the staffing shortages and stuff, this is a need to make sure that this does progress forward before it can't be used, correct?
Yes, and has to be used by 23-24. And even that, I haven't been able to get a straight answer because...
My God, that's tomorrow, Tom. I mean,
exactly.
that is tomorrow, but...
That,
in a way.
Yeah, that is tomorrow,
Yeah.
especially, and again, depending on what we spend the money on, if we spent it on some sort of physical infrastructure... I don't even know that you'd be looking at the 23 construction season. I mean, we're already planning that,
Tom,
and we haven't had these discussions. So,
as a city councilor, Tom, what do you say to people living in our community that have an idea of how ARPA funds could be spent, but feel that their ideas or their opinions won't be heard? And the second part of that is, how should they submit these ideas? Is it formally? Is it informally? Do they have to show up at city council meeting? What's the steps that folks need to do if they say, hey, I'd like to see the bike path finished up, or I'd like to see some of the ARPA funds go into some air conditioning and new bathrooms up at the auditorium. How do people submit these ideas, and how can you reassure them as a city councilor that they will be heard?
Well, to be very honest, I can't. What I can assure them is that we're going to do the very best we can. What I can assure them is if they don't say anything, their idea will never be heard. So I can guarantee them that. We do have a process. If you go to the city webpage, we have a process. The process, it's a form. It's a form. I would really encourage people to use that form. Because, let's face it, with spam, we had this weird hiccup at the office where even all my contacts were going to spam.
Yes,
right. So if they're emailing the city manager and they never have, or they're emailing a counselor and they never have, they could go to spam.
Yeah.
If they follow that process, if they, fill out the RFP, which is not... we don't need your driver's license and a copy of your passport. And, it's a relatively easy form to fill out. If they follow that process, I can virtually guarantee them, I never say guarantee because everyone makes mistakes, but if they use that form, I would say I'm 99.9% sure that their idea is going to find its way to the right place.
Okay.
That they are going to be on that list and that their idea is going to be heard.
And
and sometimes if
great
you
answer.
don't, if you submit, like if I'm submitting something important, I'll always ask the person just, please acknowledge receipt of this email. And I'm not looking for, hi, Tom, how are you? I'm not looking for 5 paragraphs. Got it. Is simple enough.
Yeah.
And then I know, good, okay, they got my email, they've seen it.
What the hell's going on with this whole diversity and equity committee and everything, Tom? What? My God! Everybody's worked up about this.
Yep, everybody's worked up about it, and so what I suggested last night and passed by a majority vote of the council is that we take a little break, that we suspend the committee for 3 weeks, and we just figure this out. There's a lot to think about and a lot to consider. And what's important to me is that, we have heard from a lot of people. I understand a lot of people are worked up, but, Councilor Booten had, the committee has produced a report read it once. What Councillor Booton suggested is that we receive the report, accept the report, and dissolve the committee. We have a lot more work to do. And the issue I have, there's been some behavior and remarks on the committee that are absolutely inappropriate and not acceptable.
Amen.
But if we just dissolve but we've all acknowledged that we all aspire to do better when it comes to issues of diversity and issues of equity and issues of justice, that we all aspire to do better and we all recognize that the work is important. Well, but if we dissolve the committee, in my mind, all we would be doing is making one person or two or however many people bigger than that work. It's like, no, you're not more important. I'll dissolve you before I'll dissolve. And I don't know if I'm there, JD.
Right.
But no, we're not just going to dissolve the committee and say, hey, we give up.
What is the purpose? What is the mission statement of the Diversity and Equity Committee? What purpose do they serve? What are they doing? What's the goal?
I mean, initially the purpose that they serve is to review the policies of the city, the operations of the city, how essentially we're doing business. And what we wanted to know is whether we are consciously or unconsciously creating an atmosphere that doesn't promote equity and doesn't promote diversity and doesn't give everyone, a fair shot. So so I don't know that, I don't know that this committee ever sort of finishes their work. They may produce a report, but issues that we are facing today may be different than issues that we're going to face in 25 or 26 that we haven't even thought of yet.
Yeah.
So what's really important, JD, is, we need to learn to work together.
Yeah.
Not
Pivot and
everyone
compromise.
agrees. The city council, we don't always agree on everything, but we can jab at each other a little bit and joke with each other a little bit and treat each other, with respect. And that's, we're trying like hell. I'm proud of the council because I think we are setting that tone that, look, we're a very diverse group in terms of where we fall in our lives on the political spectrum. We're a very diverse group, and that's a really good thing.
Diverse,
because we're
diverse with opinions, diverse with thoughts, feelings, everything.
Yeah.
Family make up everything.
Whereas if you get several people together in a room or virtually who are all 100% like-minded, that's not really a committee. That's a club. That's a club.
Well, it can be a committee. There can be people who share common goals. And that's okay that you have like-minded people working towards a common goal. But what I don't like is when you get someone who disagrees. And the biggest issue here is the issue obviously is centers around abortion. And while we all have an opinion, like I said last week, it is not an issue that is going to come before the Barre City Diversity and Equity Committee because we don't have any. Barre City Council has no jurisdiction in this matter. We can certainly have personal opinions. We can certainly have opinions and say, well, we believe our community feels this way, but you're never. We don't have a say. That is a federal and state issue. And with the overturning of Roe v. Wade, the Supreme Court sent it back to the states and said, no, we're going to send it closer to the people, and the states should be deciding what they want to do. And they didn't say, and we're going to let the states punt and send it back to, no one's talking like that.
That rattled a lot of cages.
I understand.
And that made a lot of people start
looking. I understand.
Tom, that made a lot of people start looking for you.
I think Roe v. Wade should have been left alone, personally. But here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
But here we are. Okay. Whatever. I've got enough problems to focus on in Berry City. Okay. We're looking at capital plans and infrastructure plans and moving different initiatives forward, and housing, and kids who are being abused, and kids who don't have lunch or breakfast or dinner.
And there are people that are representing the city on a state level, and those are the people that you can bring your discussion and concerns to, and let them help you as far as the city goes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, the issues that I just mentioned, those are issues where I can effect change. We talked a little bit about the city receiving the first installment. It will be 18 years worth of an opiate. The Opiate Settlement Fund. And so we chatted a little bit about the process and how I felt about that. And what I'd really like to see is I'd like to see it go towards recovery. The money, prevention, obviously, and recovery. So, I don't want to call it, it's not unimportant. And but it's not within my jurisdiction. So when people come to the council and want to talk for or against Article 20, well, whatever. I mean, go ahead.
Sure.
And great. Take out an ad in the paper. That's fine. I will respect your opinion.
Sure.
But if you're looking to me to do anything about it, then you're barking up the wrong tree. So we have, I think, the members of the Diversity and Equity Committee, I think there was a lot. Their last meeting was a big disappointment.
Yeah, it was.
To me.
I saw it.
Which is why I asked for it to be put on the agenda last night, and for why I proposed just a suspension. And a suspension is very different than a dissolution. I made it clear I will not vote to dissolve this committee. But we got to figure this out. And we weren't going to figure it out last night.
The irony of the name of this committee is just
no. I think because that's the work they're doing, and there are people on that committee who hold those ideals and that vision near and dear to their heart, and there are people on that committee who are doing a good job. So, again, it's the dog walkers. Okay. I really got to think about, okay, do we ban every dog in the cemetery when probably 90% of the people are doing what they're supposed to do?
Wait, what was that, Raylene?
I said when only one is shitting.
Yeah, I mean, so you know what? It's just about being thoughtful. We live in this society where, like it, don't like it, go on social media, boom, everything is so damn quick.
Sure.
And I just want to think about it. And that's what I told the council. Can I just get a few weeks to really think about, haven't even spoken to everybody yet.
Yeah.
So,
maybe we should all get together outside of City Hall chambers and crack a beer.
Well,
I don't know about that.
That would be a quorum, and if we talked about the Diversity and Equity Committee, that would be a violation of the open meeting law. I'm happy to crack a beer with anybody, anytime. No, but we'll figure it out.
All right.
I have great faith that we will figure it out.
Okay.
I do too.
Anything else from City Council last night before we shift gears?
No, that was about it. We've got budget season coming up, and that's always fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But so that was pretty much the whole recap.
Tracy.
And the general election.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello.
Oh yeah.
Carol talked about.
Hello. Forgot about that.
Right around the corner, the ballots are out, and yeah.
Business owners, managers, employees, all invited to join and socialize with other Barrie businesses. Of course, the partnership is doing this Barrie Merchants Social tomorrow. This would be tomorrow, Thursday, from 5:30 till 7, upstairs at the Corey Kitchen. And the first drink is on them. Free appetizers, great opportunity for us to come together. They're going to do a brief 15-minute discussion regarding fourth quarter events, stuff to really be privy to, and an opportunity for you to hang out and mingle with folks. Again, tomorrow, upstairs above the quarry from 5:30 till 7. Good stuff.
So connect with people.
Yeah.
Have a pleasant conversation. Let
Mm-hmm.
them know what's going on. We need to reconnect our social skills. My social skills. Well, I
Your
never had
social
great social
skills are-
skills.
Wow. Come on.
No, but we really, man, we all got a little out of the habit. We all stayed in our pajamas a little too long during the pandemic. And now we actually got to,
You're
put on
right.
a shirt and jacket and
Yes.
go do things. So, no, it's important. I mean, I've gone to quite a few events. Went to a great event for Becca Ballant.
Yep.
Even though, I'm a Republican. So, it was like, 45 Democrats and 1 Republican, so I love my odds.
Did you just stamp?
I thought the odds were fair.
Tom, did you just...
No,
did
but
you
we had
just-
a wonderful conversation, and obviously she's from the southern part of the state, and Governor Shumlin. So she knows Governor Shumlin well. One of the governor's very good friends is my cousin Larry Cassidy. Larry's dad, my Uncle Eddie, was my godfather, and my Aunt Polly was my godmother. And so we had that in common, and talked mostly about the Brattleboro Putney area, and talked a little bit about her vision, for the future and what the challenges are, and there's going to be a lot of them. There are going to be challenges that we haven't even seen yet. Bailing out Florida, holy cow!
Yeah, right.
I don't even know what that. I mean, it's just in the
Crazy.
tens and tens of hundreds of. I mean, I don't even know what that total's going to be.
Can you imagine being in an insurance company down there?
Or
anywhere?
I can imagine being an insurance company up here because it's going to affect everyone.
Yeah, sure.
It's not just going to affect the rates in Florida. If you pay
Absolutely.
flood insurance here in Vermont, you are going to be affected by this. If you pay insurance here in Vermont,
Yep.
it's a big industry, and there's a lot of reinsurers. So, even though you may have your policy with a local company, they may actually reinsure a portion of your policy.
Yep.
There are bigger companies. So, no, that's the world's a huge place, but it's not that huge. Pretty much everything is connected. So, but I mean, just the loss in Florida, and I'm sure we all know someone who has, Karen and I certainly do, who have literally lost everything.
Yeah, sure.
Lost everything.
Yep.
They left with a suitcase, and when they came back, there are
Nothing.
things there, but
Yeah.
not much.
I'm still seeing pictures of Fort Myers, which is just absolutely
Devastated.
I can't believe. I can't believe it.
Yeah, Sanibel,
Sanibel.
Captiva, the list goes on, and these are all places that many of us have, been to, and they're gone.
We're going to shift gears, Tom, into a lot of public service announcement stuff here. A lot of stuff going on in our community. You're more than welcome to stay if you have the time and you want to.
What time is it?
10 o'clock.
It's almost 10 o'clock.
It's up to
I
you.
got a 10:15, but I can stick around for 5 minutes.
Wellness Wednesdays.
Go ahead and public service away.
Well, Wellness Wednesdays, right here. And I don't know if you have one of these brochures, Tom, but if you don't, you need to get with it, pal. And you need to have a look at one of these and take it home with you. And you and Karen should look through it. Washington County Mental Health Services does this over at WellSpace right here on Summer Street every Wednesday. It just started up last Wednesday. So there'll be 5 more Wednesdays, including tonight. This is such a fantastic thing. I went last Wednesday with Lily. A community-based holistic approach to self-care. A lot of the workers that are in there from Reiki and massage and acupuncture, and the list goes on, all geared towards mental health, are there donating their time and their services for you in our community. And all you have to do is walk through the doors. There's no charge. You can sip some tea. You can chat with the pros and learn about wellness, which is a massive umbrella and has never been more important than right now, because many of us, our mental health is in the shitter right now. And we need to, we're coming into, 6-7 months of winter. We need to start getting dialed into this stuff. It's really important. It's really important. You need to go.
Listen.
Get over and get some acupuncture. Heather Slayton is saying, please, Tom, Go.
Look, listen.
I'll do the
I am all
acupuncture.
about self-improvement. I'm just amazed Karen hasn't given up on me yet, and I'm grateful. So, no, that's it sounds fantastic, and I will do my best to wander down there one of these Wednesdays.
Ladies' Day at Vermont Quick Lube. It's always every Wednesday. It's Ladies' Day over there.
Yeah,
where
that would be
ladies-
for your car.
Yeah, well, ladies get a flower and a car wash with their oil change.
Awesome.
But today,
but today's gonna be a little different, Raylene.
today they're doing something special for a man that is very dear to me. They are also donating $5 from every oil change to Leonard Sanborn,
Yep.
who was in a horrific car accident on Saturday. Today they are actually doing surgery to reconstruct his chest.
Not sure how this
His-
guy is still alive.
Me either. His injuries are extensive and life-threatening. He is stable, but in critical condition still.
Yep.
Yeah, but
And his wife.
has now been diagnosed with COVID,
Oh, my
so
God.
she can't be with him, and she's at home pulling her hair out and in total grief, knowing that her husband is in this surgery today, and she's not even able to see him until Thursday of next week. Yeah, it's a lot, and so. I did start a GoFundMe, and that is doing really well, thankfully. And as always, people in the community are stepping up, and Vermont Quick Lube has decided to do this for Leonard today, and I greatly appreciate them. And I'm just really proud that they are one of our sponsors, and
Yes.
that they are always jumping on board when it comes to
When
doing
one of our
something like
sponsors
this.
rallies that hard, and they always, my God,
Mm-hmm.
they're like jumping to be first in line to help out. I mean, we're so
it's,
proud.
It's awesome. And so, yeah, $5 from every oil change today will go to Leonard, and they greatly need it.
Throw some more in the pot too. You know.
Yeah,
If-
if you can,
if you can.
And if you can't, the support prayers. They're gonna need a lot of help prepping the house for winter. They have some animals. They have stuff that they need to take care of, gas cards, even rides, a meal, anything.
Whether you know them or not.
Yeah, because even if they didn't know you, that would not matter to them. They are those kind of people. They would just give the shirt off the back. They really would. And for me personally,
Yeah.
who has gone through some pretty significant stuff over the last 5 years, I don't know what I would have done without the two of them, because they've always had my back. Always.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That's just one of many things going on. And again, if you watch our page, if you listen to Aired Out, you're going to be caught up with, by God, almost everything, if not everything, that's happening in our community. Tom, have you had the flu shot yet?
I have not. Have to make an appointment. Going to do the flu shot first, wait a couple of weeks, and then do my COVID booster.
Okay. Central Vermont Home Health and Hospice is doing 10 public flu clinics in our communities through November 2nd. The third one in the list is tomorrow from 2 to 3:30 at the Montpelier Senior Center. I say this: if you don't have insurance, whatever, don't worry about that. You got to be 18 years or older, but come and they're gonna do this flu shot. They're gonna take care of it for you.
Yep. And everyone should be doing it.
Amen.
We think
Amen.
only old guys like me. No.
It's
not
everyone.
now. And a lot of it too is that obviously the symptoms, COVID symptoms, are similar, to the flu. So it's a tremendous benefit.
Yep.
And people who haven't, I have been getting my flu shots regularly for the past 10 or so years. Just takes a minute. And I mean, I can't emphasize enough that and like you said, if you don't have insurance, it's okay.
Yeah, it's all right.
You can still get a flu shot.
Yeah.
And it's not just about your health, it's about the health of those around you.
Sure.
Right.
So
And you could call their flu hotline, which is 802-224-2299. But don't go into a full panic if I got to get the flu shot by this certain date, or I'm not going to be protected, or it's too soon, or it's too late, or anything of that. You can get it anytime. You can get it anytime.
of course.
But
flu season looks like it's going to be a little earlier this year.
And
so
more intense.
They are like normally. I wouldn't think about the flu shot until November-ish.
Right.
We even start thinking about it.
Sure.
And, and I said, look, I need to make sure I've got my first flu shot by the date I set was, no later than October 21st.
I believe the 16th is when they will have it right here at the Barry Auditorium. I
Yeah.
believe that's when
Yep.
the clinic in Barry is
Yep.
the 16th.
Because obviously the flu spreads more
The
when we're
17th.
all inside.
17th.
That's so I been thinking to myself, wishful thinking. Okay, usually through Halloween we can still be outside walking around. It's not so cold that we have to, start hunkering down indoors and things like that. So, but if you're inclined to get the flu shot, you might want to start thinking about it sooner rather than later.
Absolutely.
And again, if you're inclined, we don't judge. Same with your COVID booster.
Yeah. And the kind of the barometer for how bad the flu season is going to be is Australia, and it kind of begins there. And if it's really bad there, it's most likely going to be really bad in the States. And Australia right now is seeing the worst flu season in the last 5 years. So the tide is high on this. Don't put it off. Raylene, you jump in with anything you got here for the community. I mean, there's a list here. But
Oh my gosh! Well, the list with the partnership is big. So
Enormous.
we have
I got to jump. I'm
All
gonna
right.
be late.
Thank you so very
Hey,
much.
thanks for having me.
Tom, thank you.
We'll
You
talk
all have
soon.
a great week.
Yeah, buddy.
Great weekend.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Stay safe. Stay strong.
We'll see you next Wednesday. You go right ahead, Raylene.
We have they have all the Halloween festivities coming up. They have let's see, they have the I don't know if I want to call it a fundraiser, but they have an event coming up. Yeah, they're to gather money to light up the city. You can check that out. We'll post that as well. And then you were just talking about this event that they're having over the quarry, inviting the community. So we have that going on. And Preston's Kia also has
Trunk or
their
treat.
trunk or treat coming up.
Yes.
So they're looking for people there that want to dress their cars up,
Sure.
fill their cars with candy, dress up themselves in costume, and have some fun. And yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And I can't, as always, pull it all out of the top of my head because I'm getting old.
Yep.
But I'll post them.
Oh, my God.
I'll post them all. I know that Brandy Tracy still has a lot going on with the walk for suicide awareness. There's two teams now. There's one in Montpelier as well as one in Burlington. She's got a lot going on there. Still doing her silent auction stuff and fundraising. I heard they had a great turnout at Johnny Racers
Yes,
for the
cornhole
tournament that they did in memory of Stephen. And so, and then there are we have the ladies ride for breast cancer, the stuff they did for Chelsea. They are still taking in donations. Absolutely amazing. So that's still going strong. And then upcoming, we have very soon, we have the, I believe, is it called Out of the Darkness?
Out of the Darkness.
It's the walk for the domestic violence.
Yes.
Walk with Courtney's allies, who we've spoken with them. They are also doing the clothesline project. You can see get their information.
And last Sunday was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, their 5th annual 5K, right?
Yeah, yeah. And so, but I believe that they're still raising funds.
Oh,
I believe
yes.
for the rest of the month.
Oh,
But
yes.
I think they do it all the time, but I believe that this month is, yeah.
Alex
Maybe I'm wrong.
Johns.
Maybe it was September or is it the whole month of October? I'm not sure. But anyways, they're always, but they did a great job.
So it's Alex Johns, Kate Root, and of Courtney's allies, and Diane Kinney from Circle, all doing this. And my God, I mean,
yeah,
they're
just an amazing bunch
they
of girls.
really are.
Who, yeah.
The Cycles of Life motorcycle and bike ride was a big success with New England Excess Exchange as the presenting sponsor, and the Rock Solid Crew Iron Order Motorcycle Club doing this for Central Vermont Home Health and Hospice to help out with their telehealth program. I mean, you know.
And on that same day, Tim Stone rallied a bunch of truckers together.
He did. Yes, he did.
And they also raised funds for home health.
Yes. Yeah. The Central Vermont Chamber of Commerce has introduced the Chamber Breakfast Club. This is kind of a monthly series where they examine local political issues. We're going, and they've teamed up with Le Pete Gourmet, who does the breakfast for this. We're going to be obviously promoting heavily when that next breakfast club is going to be, and we'll drop the link for you to register. But you're going to get an amazing breakfast for $11, and you get to sit around and drink coffee and talk about politics. So, also, I wanted to mention that Tanya Barnett, the operations manager over at the Chamber, she's going to be joining us tomorrow morning on Thursday and every Thursday going forward, just to give a quick snapshot of what's going on with the Central Vermont Chamber of Commerce, which there is tons of stuff.
There is
Tons of stuff. So it's frankly, they challenge us by trying to keep up with them, and we're trying.
Yeah.
And sometimes we do well, and sometimes they're a bit ahead of us. But man, they are kicking it.
Yes, they are. They do a great job over there. We're very lucky to have that partnership as well.
The American Legion, right here, Post 10, North
At 11
Main Street.
o'clock.
11 o'clock for what now?
Ron Tallman today.
Oh, yeah, 11 o'clock. Yes, of course. 45 minutes from now. And Ron will stumble in here at 11:01.
Yeah, I don't know if his plan is to go on the air or not. I really don't know. Truthfully, maybe he just wants to have a meeting with us. We never know with Ron.
No, that's it. That's my point. You
know?
never know with Ron Tallman.
This could be just a meeting. But hey, listen, everyone. Don't forget that today is not only Wednesday.
Yes.
But it is $5 burger night at Cornerstone Pub and Kitchen.
Yes, it is. Yes,
and
it is.
So, starting at 4 till close, $5. You get a burger and fries, and for $5.
Starting what time now?
4.
Oh,
4 o'clock, and that is available at dine-in only. That special.
Yep.
So, yeah, they do have takeout, but the burger night is in-house, $5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Facebook at Cornerstone PK. That's Pub and Kitchen. On the web at cornerstonepk.com. If you want to call in and order or, ahead and pick it up, it's 476-2121. Easy number to remember. Right in the heart of the Granite City, right on the corner. That's why it's called the Cornerstone. But stop by. As Raylene says, sink your teeth into one of the best burgers you're probably ever going to have in your entire life.
Yeah, and while you're there, have a margarita.
Oh, God, here we go.
Or another wonderful drink that Mike has concocted. He has both alcohol and non-alcohol beverages that he makes. It just really a great menu over there.
Have you ever seen the look in Mike's eye on a busy night? It's always busy over at the Cornerstone, but when it's especially busy over there, when he's just blasting, he's making drinks literally like a mad scientist.
That's his element. Yeah, he's a happy guy. Yeah,
he's amazing. What else do we have, Raylene? My God, there's just one of our sponsors, Sunrise Gymnastics, right up in Berlin.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a Halloween Parents' Night Out coming up on October 29th. It's from 6 p.m. until 9 p.m. For ages 6 and up. Kids are going to enjoy an open gym, obstacle courses, pizza, games. They encourage you and your kids to come in costume to win a prize. But again, this is October 29th. Again, everything that we're talking about is posted up on the Aired Out Facebook page, so you can get if you're missing what I'm saying. The other thing is that I forgot to mention is we here at Aired Out are doing a Central Vermont Chamber of Commerce mixer open to the public on Thursday night, October 20th. It's from 5 until 6:30, right here at our studios, and we're inviting members and non-members, anyone, to come out, enjoy some refreshments, some door prizes. We're going to do a 50-50 raffle to benefit the Family Center of Washington County in partnership with the Chamber of Commerce. Tickets are only $10. The winner will get half of what's collected from the 50-50, and the other half will go to the Family Center of Washington County and to the Chamber. So we've got the link. It's right on our page if you want to purchase a raffle ticket or a ticket to join us that night. But again, this is open to both members of the Central Vermont Chamber of Commerce and non-members too. So everyone is welcome. Come see the studio. We won't be live on the air, I don't think. But my God, you never know. And come see our studios and come see our operation right here on North Main Street in Barrie. Have some fun with us. Mingle. Get to know other businesses and stuff. What's the big story in Vermont news is the Barrie couple charged with involuntary manslaughter following the baby's death. And I noticed you just took a deep breath on this. I think, Raylene, that a lot of people are taking a deep breath about this story, and it is overwhelming. And I'm not sure if that's
overwhelming.
If that's the right word, but there's
and I right now am consumed with extreme sadness for that baby. And so the deep breath comes because I don't even have it in me to, well, I'm pissed, like I'm angry, but I don't have it in me to put that energy there yet, because my energy is still just deep sorrow and for that poor little guy who was innocent and just had, I mean, this is just, it's disgusting. It's beyond forgivable. And when I read the article, I literally was sick to my stomach instantly and tears instantly. And I just, I don't know.
It's a big story trending in Vermont today, and again, we have posted it up on the Air It Out page if you want to read all about it. But the American Legion Friday night, I want to get back to the Legion here. They've got karaoke with L&M Music. $5 gets you in. If you're looking to get the hell out of your house and have some fun and lighten up, it doesn't matter whether you're a unbelievably talented singer like me, or if you're a shitty singer, or if you don't want to sing at all, you just want to come and enjoy a drink and watch other people make complete asses out of themselves, and find entertainment.
You're good at that too.
Find entertainment in that. Yes. Go to the American Legion on Friday night and enjoy karaoke. The very next day, on Saturday, the 8th, they have a chicken and biscuits dinner.
Now that sounds really good.
Yes. It's at 5 p.m. The cost is $12. Please believe me that you will not be hungry after you have the chicken and biscuits dinner at the American Legion Saturday. And then their big craft fair and flea market is on the 15th. So that's something to put on the calendar. It's from 9 to 3. The Veterans Dinner is on the 18th. They ask you to RSVP by October 10th, 479-9058. These are things that Ron Tolman probably is privy to anyway. And Saturday night, this coming Saturday night, the Dragulus Fall Extravaganza at the Barry Elks, hosted by the Rainbow Bridge Community Center right here on North Main Street. G was in here the other day just throwing gas on the fire. I mean, he just came in here and just obliviated everything. It completely took control of Air It Out.
Yeah. Did a great job. And
to the
so
point
did
where you almost needed to come down here.
Well, and because there was a gentleman here on our stoop, doorstep, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Making G just a little bit on edge.
Yeah.
And so did you see that? I don't think it was yesterday. I think it was Monday. That also happened to Michael Booten.
I did.
And
I did.
Yeah, we are just used to it.
Of course.
And admittedly, even I'm used to it, but I don't like it when somebody just stands there directly behind me.
Oh, yeah.
So that I can't see on the screen who it is, or I would rather they move a little to the right or the left, so at least I get some sort of view of who the hell is standing there. But yeah. It happens.
These things happen.
Hey, also on Saturday night, we have a benefit for the Parrott family at Mulligan's from 5 to 8. Native Tongue and Mulligan's have teamed up to do that fundraiser at Mulligan's from 5 to 8. Okay. So, and that is to benefit the Parrots. There's live music, food, and drinks.
Whew, man, I mean, I'm just...
Busy weekend again this weekend, and I love these weekends because it's just awesome to see, but I hate these weekends because I have to choose which place I'm going to be and then worry about whose feelings are going to be hurt.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
Yes.
Agree. And so yeah.
This is, frankly, let's be really blunt here. This is the time of year, September, October, when New Englanders, northern New Englanders, go into kind of a mindset of, holy shit, we're going to be buried under the ground, under 300 feet of snow for the next 6 months in hibernation. We need to purge and get all this out, and the hay rides and the pumpkins, and we need to get together in the chicken dinners because we're going to be all freezing our asses off for the next 6 months. So we're kind of like purging, right?
Right.
I mean, that's it right there. what's whacked this morning? And this is I have to just bring this up again, Raylene, because this is affecting me. This is the Walmart selling wedding dresses.
How is this affecting you?
This is affecting me.
I'm so confused.
Because I love Say Yes to the Dress. I talk about this, but this bridal collection is going to launch October 13th. It's going to feature 50 different pieces, all priced below $900, with some of the dresses starting at just $89.
Mm-hmm. And this troubles you? Why?
It's not troubling me. It's making me feel rejoice.
Okay.
It's
because
affecting me.
Walmart is trying to help make weddings affordable.
Thank you.
Oh.
That's my point. This is cause for celebration.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think?
I guess.
Debbie, go ahead.
Because, well, I guess the only reason I can be happy about it is that probably the majority of dresses are not made local.
Sure.
And so, because I think it's super important to keep things local.
Yes.
We don't have any dress shop right here local anymore. Unfortunately, you have to go all the way to Burlington even just to rent a tux, which has proven to be an extreme pain in the ass. I wish we had something like that here, but we don't.
We used to.
So I guess, yes, we did. And God bless Ljubljana. And don't we all miss her to pieces? And
yes.
And who knows, maybe someday the city will rent all these apartments above the stores, and because landlords will feel like they have some sort of protection from the hell.
Yeah.
And our city will just be booming with people walking around and thriving again, and there'll be those sorts of stores.
Yeah.
Hopefully someday. You never know. Until then, I guess we have to count on Walmart or traveling to Burlington or New York or Massachusetts or whatever.
$89.
Walmart.
My God, I'd go up and try one on for $89.
You'd go up and try one on for nothing. You would just do it.
Midweek gripe from our beloved Debbie the Downer. Are you sitting down, Raylene?
I am sitting down.
Dear JD.
Oh, jeez.
My gripe this week is customer service reps who either A, don't speak English, or B, they're half asleep and don't understand simple issues. I'd rather go to the DMV, do my taxes, and go to the dentist all in the same day than deal with the one that I just hung up with. An hour on hold, wasted time in my life that I cannot get back, then being transferred multiple times, and then having to repeat myself to each person and dealing with automated systems that don't understand what I'm saying. Love, Debbie.
Mm-hmm.
What's your worst customer service story? And I'm going to post this up as the Facebook question of the day this morning.
Truthfully, it was local.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, I have had some bad experiences speaking on the phone with people and having them not understand me and me not understanding them.
Mm-hmm.
But that's who's going to answer the phone.
Yeah.
That's who I am going to have to deal with to resolve my problem. And so I had to just decide that when that happens, that I have to just take a deep breath and I have to be willing to say to that person, I am having a hard time understanding you. Can you slow down a little bit? And can every little bit, can you make sure that I'm still with you and we're still on the same page?
Yeah.
And I always ask that person to email me before I hang up the phone with the resolve. I want the resolve in writing,
Oh, yeah.
in an email. And most often, they're just as willing to do that as you want them to do that because they're struggling too.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they're a telemarketer, I despise them.
Yeah.
When there's somebody who is working for Amazon, Verizon, any company, they're working, they're trying, this is their job, and if one of us
Mm-hmm.
wanted to have that job, we wouldn't need to have them doing that job. I look at that with farmhands, anything. That's the way I look at it. Those jobs are available. If you want them, you can have them, but you choose not to have them, and we need somebody to do them.
Sure.
Correct? Yes.
This is all very good.
What pisses me off is going into a store and having the person behind the counter on their cell phone or a phone
Yeah.
the entire time they're waiting on me, or going into a store, seeing the line a mile long, and the asshole that's standing in front of me that it's buying lottery ticket after lottery ticket or after lottery ticket with no regard for who's behind them. But worst of all, the employee that is having a personal conversation with the person they're waiting on pisses me off. Save it for your break, babe. The line's building up behind you. Get out of my freaking way. Wrap up what you're doing and just do your job. That pisses me off. Far more than the people that can barely speak English on the phone at Verizon or
But Raylene,
anybody.
don't you think that there's somebody that's second or third or fourth in line that wants to hear about the pap smear?
I don't give a shit. And I will say, excuse me. I don't often bite my tongue. So I will tell them. I'm not nice to those people.
We want to hear your worst customer service story. And we also want to hear from the customer service reps themselves. What are your biggest gripes about the job? What do you think should be done to make things better? We're going to post this up on Facebook. Don't forget today, get your oil changed. Wellness Wednesday over at WellSpace. There's so much going on. Get over to, go ahead.
We have to say happy birthday
To who?
to Courtney Wade and Samantha
Today?
Churchill.
Really?
Yes. We have to at least say happy birthday to those two ladies whom I love to death. And
Well,
so
there's
I don't know if there's a birthday list over there, but I have to say happy birthday to Courtney Wade
Yeah.
and Samantha Churchill.
There is a birthday list here.
Okay. Sorry.
Wes Williams is 35. Jesse Sylvester's 26. Christina Godfrey. Samantha Churchill, who you just mentioned. Courtney Wade, do we want to say that she's 31 or do we want to steer clear of that?
Sure, why not?
All right. She's 31. Jenny Card is on the list. And David Stone is 25 today.
Happy birthday to all of you.
Happy birthday, everybody. Listen, have yourself
A merry little Christmas.
that and just an overall fabulous fucking day.
Mm-hmm.
And don't let stuff get under your skin. Just take a deep breath, relax, make your plans for Saturday night to go over to the Dragulus Fall Extravaganza. Get over to Wellness Wednesday today over at WellSpace. Get your oil changed at Vermont Quick Lube. Help out Leonard Sanborn over there while you're doing that. And, by all means, take good care of one another and show an ounce of appreciation and respect and love for a teacher that is either impacting your life right now or has in the past, because it is World Teachers Day. Thanks, Raylene.
Have a great day.
We'll see you soon, everybody. God love you. Be well.